Some jackets make you look well-dressed in the fitting room and uninformed 6 months later.
You pull it off the rack, the weight feels right, the logo is there, and the price stings a little. But you think it is a good brand, it is going to last, so you swipe the card and walk out wearing it. Then the next winter comes and the zipper loses its grip, the fill flattens on one side, and the fabric develops that cheap synthetic sheen.
And you realize, too late, that you paid for a name and not a jacket. In this video, we are breaking down 7 jacket brands that stylish men keep buying, and for each one, we are going to show you exactly where the real value collapses.
And which alternative actually delivers more for your money, because the criteria are not subjective.
We are talking materials, construction, margin, durability, and what is actually behind the label. Before we get into it, let us establish the standard we are using, because you need to be able to apply this yourself.
A well-built jacket can be evaluated with a few simple questions, starting with what is the outer shell fabric and what is the actual percentage of each material. Is the zipper YKK or equivalent, or is it a throwaway, and is the lining sewn in or glued?
If it is insulated, is the fill reeled down, quality synthetic, or cheap polyester batting, and are the seams reinforced? The video opens with a composition featuring a large, full-screen cinematic B-roll with a smaller picture-in-picture inset positioned in the lower right corner.
And finally, does the price you are paying reflect the actual cost of production, or does it reflect the marketing budget, the retail real estate, the celebrity campaign, and the logo?
You do not need to be a fashion expert to run this checklist. You need 2 minutes, a label, and your fingers.
1. Michael Kors, which sells a very specific promise of accessible luxury with a designer feel.
The storefronts are immaculate, the mannequins are styled correctly, and the price sits somewhere between $200 and $500 depending on the piece. And everything about the presentation says you are buying something above fast fashion, but you are not.
Michael Kors leather jackets frequently use bonded leather, which in plain terms is leather scraps pressed together with adhesive and covered with a plastic coating.
It looks like leather, it smells faintly like leather, it peels like plastic after 18 months of real use, and it is not leather.
It is the illusion of leather sold at the price of leather, and the puffers and bombers from the brand regularly show up with high polyester content.
The finish is appropriate for what you think you are paying and completely inappropriate for what you are actually paying, and the logo is doing the work that the materials should be doing.
The problem is that the brand charges like an entry-level designer and delivers premiumized fast fashion, and the logo subsidizes the construction. If you want a real leather jacket in this price range, look at Shot NYC, which has been making jackets since 1913.
They produced the first commercially available motorcycle jacket in genuine cowhide, and you can still find pieces with full-grain leather, double-stitch, at a comparable, sometimes lower price than a Michael Kors faux leather bomber, and Shot will still be in your closet in 10 years.
For bombers or fabric outerwear, All Saints on Sale or Tailor Stitch offers more honest construction with greater transparency about what you are actually buying.
The rule from this block: if the brand's core business is handbags and fragrances, the jacket might be a side product.
It's the details that matter. From the choice of fabric to the precise cut of the lapel, a suit should fit you perfectly.
The suit is real within its segment, the positioning is earned, and that is exactly the reputation the brand uses to sell outerwear that often does not deserve the same credit. Hugo Boss jackets frequently arrive with 80, 90, sometimes 100% polyester construction, sold at prices between $300 and $700. The cut is competent, the visual finish is clean, but when you actually read the label, you are looking at a synthetic jacket with a designer name. The prestige of the suit is being used to sell a commodity jacket. There are exceptions inside the brand, with pieces with wool and more controlled capsule collections. But the average consumer is not buying those, they are buying whatever is on the floor of the department store with the big logo tag, trusting that the name on the label means the same thing it means on a dress shirt, but it does not. If you want real outerwear in this price position, for British construction with full transparency about materials and manufacturing, they will tell you exactly who made the jacket and where, and Barber is another legitimate option, with a long history in wax cotton and functional outerwear. For the continental cut at a lower price, APC on sale delivers European construction and more honest fabric choices.
The lesson here, a brand that is excellent in one category is not automatically excellent in every category, and the name on the label does not transfer construction quality. 3. Zara, which is actually honest in a way that many expensive brands are not, because it never really promised you durability. The problem is that the men buying Zara jackets believe they bought something that will last, and Zara has never corrected that impression.
A faux leather trucker from Zara can look completely right in the first week. The cut is current, the color is correct, and the price feels reasonable. But the material is polyurethane over a base fabric, and the way that material behaves under heat, folding, and repeated use is predictable.
It cracks, it peels, it loses its shape before the style itself goes out of fashion, and the same applies to Zara's synthetic suede and nylon bombers.
These pieces are engineered to look good for one season, not because the people making them are incompetent, but because the entire model is built around turnover.
The jacket is not supposed to outlast the trend, and here is the contrast that matters. A jacket that looks current because it is well made ages into a classic, but a jacket that looks current because it was engineered for the moment ages into a problem. For cleaner, more honest construction at accessible prices, Uniqlo U consistently outperforms what you would expect from the price.
The fabrics are real, the construction is straightforward, and the pieces are designed to wear well over time rather than to spike at launch.
Cost delivers a similar European minimalism with more durable materials, and for denim and workwear-influenced outerwear, Bronson Manufacturing and
The rule from this block: if a jacket looks trendy because it is disposable, you are renting it and not owning it.
4. Canada Goose, which is more complicated, and that is exactly why it belongs in the middle of this list.
Canada Goose makes genuinely functional outerwear. The technical specs on their Expedition parkas are real, and the fill power on certain pieces is legitimate. If you are regularly in environments with sustained sub-zero temperatures, some of their core performance pieces justify serious consideration.
The brand has shifted steadily and deliberately from performance outerwear into urban status symbol. The logo patch on the arm is doing. You see it in cities where the temperature rarely drops below freezing, on people walking from a heated apartment to a heated car to a heated office.
And the price has followed the brand's identity shift, so you are now paying often over $1,000 for a combination of real warmth you do not need and brand recognition.
The logo patch is not free. The marketing campaign that made you want the logo patch is not free either, and you are paying for both, whether you know it or not.
Here is the direct comparison. Patagonia's down jackets use traceable down, offer a lifetime repair program, and are designed for people who actually use them in weather. Fjällräven builds parkas with G1000 fabric and Greenland wax that improve with age and use. Nobis on sale, Outdoor Research, and the North Face Summit series all deliver legitimate warmth and construction at lower price points. The question to ask before buying a Canada Goose jacket is not whether it is well made, but whether you are buying a parka or a logo. 5. The North Face lifestyle line. And this block requires a distinction that matters. The North Face makes excellent technical outerwear in its Performance and Summit series, and the Himalayan Parka, the Summit L5G. That part of the brand is legitimate, but that is not what most people are buying. What most men are buying is the Nupsy puffer in a colorway that sold out twice on social media, or a fleece that got picked up in a streetwear editorial, or a collab piece that costs $400 and has nothing technically different from the standard version, so they are buying the brand's outdoor heritage as an aesthetic and not as a function.
The problem is that the lifestyle pieces and the technical pieces carry the same logo, so you assume the performance reputation extends to everything, but it does not.
Some of the lifestyle outerwear uses the same materials and construction you would find at a fraction of the price from a brand with less cultural weight. Patagonia makes fleece and insulated jackets with better material transparency and a more honest relationship between price and construction. Arc'teryx, bought used or found at outlet, delivers build quality that makes most other outerwear feel like cosplay.
Rab, Montbell, and Marmot all produce genuinely technical pieces at prices that do not require the hype markup.
The question you need to ask is whether this jacket is equipment or whether it is a costume of equipment. 6. Ralph Lauren, which is the most nuanced case in this list and deserves careful treatment. The brand has genuine American heritage,
Some Ralph Lauren pieces, especially from the RRL line and the purple label, are exceptional.
The aesthetic is coherent, the lifestyle narrative is one of the most powerful in the history of menswear, and the brand has earned real respect in specific categories.
But that coherent narrative creates a dangerous halo effect, because when you buy a Ralph Lauren Harrington, a quilted jacket, a bomber, or a trucker under the main polo line, you are often buying the dream of the brand and not the construction that the dream implies. And the visual language is immaculate.
The presentation says old money, American craft, generational clothing, and then you look at the composition and find the brand sells the lifestyle at every price point, but the quality does not scale the same way. If you want a Harrington jacket with real construction and genuine heritage, Barracuda invented the style and makes it better in the original form. For a trucker, Levi's Made in Japan or Made in Crafted line delivers selvage denim construction that will outlast anything on the main Ralph Lauren floor. For a quilted jacket, Barber has been doing it longer and more honestly, and if you want Ralph Lauren specifically, find RRL on sale or used.
The distinction in this block is precise. Ralph Lauren makes great things and mediocre things under the same dream, and knowing which category you are looking at is the whole job.
7. Diesel, which sells attitude, raw attitude, and the brand's whole identity is built on rebellion. Aggressive washes, distressed finishes, hardware details, the aesthetic of someone who does not follow the rules, and for a certain buyer, that energy is genuinely compelling.
The problem is that attitude and construction are not the same thing, and diesel denim jackets, leather pieces, and moto outerwear, not the actual cost or quality of the materials, and washes and distressing that look like character can mask base fabrics that do not age well. Leather pieces frequently use bonded or corrected grain leather that degrades faster than the price suggests it should. The hardware looks aggressive, but is not always built to last.
The attitude is real, but the construction often is not. And here is the alternative for the buyer who wants genuine edge with actual durability.
Ironheart builds heavyweight denim jackets in Japan using 21-ounce selvage fabric that takes years to break in and decades to break down.
Freenote Cloth makes American-made denim outerwear with real character that develops over time, and Nudie Jeans offers honest construction with a genuine repair program.
Shot NYC belongs here too, with real leather, real weight, and real hardware, and 316 produces denim outerwear that rewards long-term ownership.
The distinction is the most important one in this entire list. A jacket with real personality comes from materials and construction that earn character over time.
A jacket that only looks rebellious on day one is a costume and not clothing. Here is what runs through every single one of these 7 brands. The jacket does not fail because the brand is evil.
It fails because the model is built on perception. Marketing creates the expectation of quality, the store environment reinforces it, and the price signals it.
And by the time you understand what you actually bought, you have already worn it through the season that mattered. So the alternative is not to stop buying jackets. It is to change what you are looking for. Before you look at the logo, look at the label. What percentage of the outer shell is natural fiber? What kind of fill is used? And what is its fill power?
Is the zipper YKK? Are the seams double-stitched at stress points? Is the lining sewn or glued? And what does the brand say about where this was made?
A jacket worth buying will give you answers, but a jacket built on image will give you marketing copy. The brands shown as alternatives, Schott, Barber, Private White VC, Patagonia, Arc'teryx, Barracuda, Ironheart, Freenote, and Montbell, are not perfect.
They are not immune to margin games or brand inflation, but they have something in common. Their reputation is built on what the product does, not just on what it looks like.
You do not need to spend more money to buy better jackets. You need to stop spending money on logos and start spending it on materials.
The next time you are standing in front of a rack and you feel the pull of a name you recognize, stop.
Hold the jacket, read the label, check the zipper, find the seams, and ask yourself whether you are paying for what is inside the jacket or for what is printed on the chest.
That answer is always there, but most buyers just never look for it. If this changes how you read a label, stick around, because we do this work so you do not have to figure it out the hard way.